Do you want a podium at local competitions? In most regions of the world, being sub 30 on 4x4 will get you there and then some. And if you're sub 9 on 3x3, reaching this level is not only possible but easier than you think. Hi, I'm Not Me Cubes. I average 29 to 30 seconds on 4x4, and I'll show you a few tips on how to break this barrier. The Moyu Alsa V7 double track is the best cube on the market by far. It's smooth, fast, barely locks up, and makes improvement so much easier. Upgrading from the MGC to this is what I single-handedly credit for my improvement over these last few months. So if you're in the 34 to 36 range with an inferior cube, this could get you all the way to sub 30. Your first two centers should take 3 to 4 seconds. Your next 3 edges and centers should take around 8 to 9 seconds. 3 to 3 should take you 7 to 8 seconds, and then the 3 to 3 stage should take 9 to 10 seconds, including a parity step if you only have one. It's okay if one part is a bit longer or shorter for you, but these are what my splits roughly look like, and they can help you know which steps you are losing major time on. Focusing on first two centers allowed me to break that last barrier and get sub 30s regularly, and it really came down to minimizing rotations and maximizing ergonomics. At this level, you want to plan out your first two centers for most scrambles, or at least have your first 3 bars planned while looking ahead to the fourth. As a general rule of thumb, you want to solve your first center into the bottom, which allows you to solve the second center easily. A mistake people make when solving the second bar is they do a Z rotation to pair it and another Z rotation to insert it. This allows you to use wide R moves to pair the bar, which are more ergonomic, but you have to do more rotations. Instead, you should commit to one of the orientations. If you commit to the second center being on the right, then you can insert bars using U, R2, U prime. If you commit to the second center being on the top, then pair up bars using wide U2 moves and insert using R, U2, R prime. Another way to reduce rotations is to plan out bars into the back and solve them into the top using R prime U2 R or L U2 L prime. Alright, let's do a bit of an example solve. Here I see this yellow bar and these two pieces, which we can align using this, but I see that if we do a wide U prime, we pair these two as well as aligning these two for insert down here, and if we track these two pieces during all that, we see that this piece goes over here because we're going to do a wide U prime, then R wide prime, F prime, R wide prime to solve this, as well as a D move to align this. So we see that this is going to go over here, this will go over here, and then will likely go down here, which gives us this, so we can plan out our second center as well using that information. Just keep that in our memory so that we can go through this in one fell swoop. The transition from first two centers to first 3 edges can be very tough because you're going from what you inspected to the actual solve, so you want to focus on eliminating that pause as much as possible. For look-ahead purposes, here are a few tips to keep in mind. While solving your last bar, you want to find at least one white edge pair so you can do the rotation into Yao edges without stumbling. For look-ahead purposes, here are a few tips to keep in mind. It's good to pair up edges into this bottom slot and insert them with a D move, so that you can visually access all these pieces up here. Same thing with pairing edges in the back slot and inserting them with a B move. You don't want to look to the left side of the cube to make sure that you're putting the edges in the correct position. Instead, that should be almost subconscious and you should be relying on memory to insert edges correctly into the cross. Don't do useless moves like random U primes. It may feel worse to completely pause, but that's better for look ahead since there are less moves to trace pieces through. In fact, most really good 4x4 solvers have slight pauses in between edges in this step, but that's perfectly fine because their flow is solid. For efficiency purposes, here are a few tips to keep in mind. It may be better to do a clumsy 4-move solution versus a high TPS 6 or 7-move solution, because the former will be better for look ahead. So do F moves or B moves and allow yourself to regrip within reason. This might be obvious, but watch example solves. But before you see them do a certain F3E solution, pause the video and think about what you would do in that situation. Then compare your solution with what you see them do. It's easy to watch an example solve inactively and think, oh, I would have totally done that. But it's much more constructive to actively participate with these tools. The transition from first 3 edges to last 4 centers is also extremely difficult to master because suddenly you're dropped into this wild west of center bars and patterns galore, and you have to figure out which one is the most efficient to start with. My advice here is simple. don't worry about it. The difference in efficiency between a moderately efficient solution and the most efficient solution is not that big, and it isn't worth a giant pause. If you see something that is more efficient on the fly, go for it, but don't go out of your way to search for an efficient solution unless you're doing a slow solve or something. Now, efficiency does become a priority when you're wrapping up the third center and moving on to the fourth. And in my eye, the best way to do this is by keeping bars vertical, specifically by keeping bars to the left. This will allow you to minimize phase switching, it will preserve bars for later effectively without you having to worry about it, and it will allow you to use more R-wide U solutions. Also in general, prioritize R-wide U solutions or even slice move U solutions without phase switching. Now, full disclosure, I'm not the best at centers and I rely on fast turning to get through it. Because turning fast is really quite important here, since the cases are usually so easy to recognize. Make sure you're able to one-look all the last 2 center cases and turn quickly and fluidly throughout. Once you finish off centers, you can either flip and solve the cross edge or solve the cross edge in this orientation. I switch based on whichever one's more ergonomic. At this level, you should be viewing this step as an algorithm set instead of you just figuring it out in real time. Inserting the cross edge should be one smooth motion, so try and make some time and practice some common last cross edge patterns, especially the ones with one edge in the middle and one edge in the top. There are 2 main cues I would recommend here. The first one is to improve your special case recognition. A lot of people are able to do regular 323 very smoothly, but struggle when they are face to face with a special case. You don't want to do that. Be very familiar with the protocol for each case. The second one is to do back inserts more. You don't have to rotate to insert each edge during the first 3 edges part. Instead, you should aim to do 0 to 1 rotations during this part, and the rest should be rotationless. Apart from that, be smooth, look ahead well, and turn fast. Make sure your 303 stage is quick. Your OLL parity should be around low 2 and your PLL parity should be sub 1. Make sure you know the correct ways to deal with all the OLL parity and PLL parity cases. I wouldn't stress learning completely new algorithms for OLL and PLL for 4x4 because hardware has reached this level where you can pretty much turn it like a 303. Alright, it's time to get grinding. Put the advice that I told you into effect and you should be a good few seconds faster, hopefully. Have a good one.